Hello everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Deciphering Phyrexian. And guys, our understanding of Phyrexian has just improved dramatically because in his show Good Morning Magic, Gavin Verhey interviewed Mary Catherine again. And in case you don't know, Gavin Verhey is a very important designer at Wizards of the Coast, and Mary Catherine is the mother of the Phyrexian language. She didn't invent the language, but she is in charge of all things Phyrexian at Wizards of the Coast. And in this interview, she talked about one of the few examples of spoken Phyrexian we have. This is a phrase that the planeswalker Tamillo can say on Magic Arena when you cast her. So let's hear it. That phrase actually means all will be one, which is like the Phyrexian slogan or their motto. And while talking about this phrase, Mary Catherine revealed incredible things about Phyrexian. Like it literally changes how we think about the language forever. It's incredible. But before that, this video also has a call to action. Because at the end of the video, Gavin asks if we are interested about the Phyrexian language and what we want to learn about it. So this is our chance, guys. I need you all, like if you like my videos, if you're interested about Phyrexian, I need you to go to the comments in Gavin's video. I need you to go to Gavin's Twitter. I need you to go to Mary's Twitter. She doesn't seem to use Twitter much, but go there anyway. And I need you all to tell them the following thing. Fair from Highly Entropic Mind says that what we need is a story written in Phyrexian. That's what we need. Because, for example, in the Magic website, they usually publish these stories with the characters from the game. And it's really cool. They tell you their stories and they are full of lore and they are funny and interesting. And we need one of those, but completely written in Phyrexian. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be just like 1,000 words. That's all we need. Because if we get that, we can learn more from this short story than what we have learned from all other examples of Phyrexian up to this point, and I'm not exaggerating. So that's what we need, and it is our chance to tell them that that's what we want. And let me tell you guys, if we get a story completely written in Phyrexian, we would decipher it like this. We would learn so much so quickly. It would be incredible. And so, yeah, that's what we need. So go to their Twitter, go to the YouTube comments and tell them that this is what we need. Okay, so now we can go and talk about all the revelations that came from that interview. But, of course, this video, like all my videos, is brought to you by my Patreons. Otimo Tiosun, Matt Zweig, Daniel H. McGillivray, Marlo Brown, Valerie Hyde, David Saunders, and T. Highfield. All my Patreons, thanks 1,000 times, thanks 1,000,000 times. Okay, so let's talk about the Phyrexian phrase. And it's very funny that actually we had previously data mined that phrase from the game, and I made a live stream where we analyzed it. And this is the conclusion we came at during that live stream. This is how I originally transcribed the phrase, which now we know that the last word is wrong, but that's fine. It's obviously we were bound to make some mistakes, of course. And this is how I translated it word for word at the time. Will want everything. And you might be thinking like, hey, where is the verb to be? But that's not a big problem because many languages like Russian and Hawaiian get along perfectly well without ever using the verb to be. So perhaps Phyrexian does the same. And this is how I think each one of these words is written in Phyrexian. Although, of course, this one imasho is wrong, and this one kappa, this one we have actually seen it written before in the Phyrexian swamp lore, so we know for a fact that this is how this word is written. Okay, so this is what we have at the end of the live stream. But now, thanks to Mary's interview, we know that instead of being imasho, the last word is imas ahak. So the whole phrase is kappa shk imas ahak. No, sorry, kappa shk imas ahak. We had to get that glottal stop after the S, right? But here is where the groundbreaking stuff happens. This changes how we think about Phyrexian forever. Mary revealed to us that these 4 sounds in this phrase are metallic sounds. That means that in the lore, Phyrexians, since they are part machine, they have metallic beats in their mouths and they use them to make some of the sounds in their language. And guys, that's fucking incredible! And like, okay, on one hand, I love this because languages are works of art. And if you are creating a language for non-human creatures, the fact that they use non-human sounds, it's incredible. I love it. You are truly exploring the possibilities of the medium. But in another hand, I don't like this because I want to be able to say all the sounds in the made-up languages I like. I want to be able to speak them. And so, yeah, for some reasons I like them, for some reasons I don't like them, but I think in the end, I like it a lot more than I dislike it. So yeah, this is incredible. But this presents us first a challenge because, well, as you can see, we can write things in Phyrexian most of the time, but it's important for me to always be able to use the International Phonetic Alphabet to transcribe everything so that there's no ambiguity about how things sound. And this is what linguists do all the time with real world languages, right? They always transcribe them using the International Phonetic Alphabet. This is what it was created in order to transcribe languages without ambiguity. Anyway, and so far that hasn't been a problem. But now that we have sounds that humans cannot make, well, obviously the International Phonetic Alphabet doesn't have a way to represent the sounds. So we have to invent something. But whatever we invent has to be compatible with the existing International Phonetic Alphabet, and it has to be compatible with Unicode. Like, I don't want to, because there's another way to transcribe Phyrexian that was created by the people at MTG Salvation a long time ago, and like they use dashes and capital letters and lowercase letters and stuff like that. And yeah, it works, but it's very confusing. You are never gonna see this and be able to read it. It's just really hard. It's obviously better to use the International Phonetic Alphabet. I wanted to find a solution for that, and this is what I came up with. Many times the International Phonetic Alphabet uses exponents to like show alterations to the sounds. So for example, you can have the velar unvoiced stop, which is the technical name for the sound, and you can add a little h like an exponent, and now it means that this is aspirated. And I thought, well, we need something like that, but to show metallicity, if that's how we're gonna call it. And I thought that, well, many people have pointed out to me in the past that the Greek letter phi, capital Phi, not lowercase phi, capital Phi, looks a lot like the Phyrexian symbol, which is just like a circle and a line, right? And so I thought, okay, so we have in Unicode the capital Phi that we can use to represent Phyrexian, or in this case, metallicity. And I thought, well, we can, Unicode actually supports using pretty much any symbol as an exponent. So this is how we are going to represent metallic sounds. We are just going to take the normal version of the sound and we are going to use a capital Phi as an exponent to represent how it changes. And so this is how we would write this phrase using this addition to the International Phonetic Alphabet in order to write Phyrexian. So you see this, you know all these sounds are metallic. Okay, so this is really interesting, but this presents a problem. Like, how do Phyrexians write metallic sounds? And to understand my question, we have to go back to the Phyrexian phonology. Okay, so far, this is our best understanding of the Phyrexian writing system. And I love that because it is a phonetic alphabet. And phonetic alphabets are, for example, like Hangul, which is used for Korean. And in phonetic alphabets, each letter is giving you like the instructions of how to make the sound. So, for example, the way Hangul works is that in a certain way you have to imagine a person looking to the left. So, like, imagine this is like a person and this is the mouth, and yeah, something like that, right? And so if you imagine this person like this, and so then this K is talking about the roof of the mouth, and then this line here is representing the back of the mouth. So you know that this is a K. Or for example, in the case of a T, we have again this line representing the top, but then we have this representing the front of the mouth. And so you know this is a T. And so the point is that every letter tells you how to make the sound, and it is very consistent, and the result is that letters that represent similar sounds have similar shapes. So yeah, you look at two letters, and if they look similar, they must sound similar. Obviously, the Hangul is more complex than that, and it's very elegant. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but the point is that Phyrexian is a featural writing system too. And the way it works is that you have these base consonants. For example, this is the base consonant for the stops. It's just a slash going from right to left. The base consonant for the fricatives, just a slash going from left to right. We have a second base consonant for the fricatives. I call them fricatives 1 and fricatives 2. Here are the weird ones, but even the weird ones have like their base symbol, sort of like the nasals. They are extremely simple. There are just two of them, but all of them follow very consistent patterns. And in Phyrexian, these base consonants are modified with the diacritics in very consistent ways. So, for example, while in Korean you imagine the person looking to the left, in Phyrexian you imagine the person looking to the right. Let me try again. So this is the nose, something like this. This is the mouth. So, for example, if you are pointing, if a consonant is said like at the front of the mouth, well, you have like something pointing to the front like this. Or if it's said at the back of the mouth, you have something pointing to the back. And so that's kind of like how these diacritics work. These ones here, well, the ones in the back point to it's called the velar ridge, which is basically just like the back of your mouth, like when you say ka or ga. This is what you're using. And the front ones refer to the alveolar ridge. And the alveolar ridge is the part just behind your teeth. The part that gets burned whenever you eat pizza that is too hot. For real, try it. Eat pizza that is too hot, you're gonna burn your alveolar ridge. And then you'll never forget what it is. And then we have some other diacritics with other meanings. And some of them are unknown, like this one. I'm not entirely sure what this one means. Anyway, and then we have the vowels. And the vowels are just, well, the vowels are the weak spot of any featural writing system. But at least Phyrexian is very consistent when representing them. Okay, so now that we know how so let me show you an example of how all this comes together. So for example, let's say we have a stop. Like the base stop is B, right? And then I say, okay, now send it to the alveolar ridge. It becomes a D, right? B, D. Okay, and now I say unvoice it. The voicing is whether your vocal cords vibrate. So for example, put your hand in your throat and say D, D, it's gonna vibrate. But if you say T, 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 it doesn't vibrate, or at least it doesn't vibrate as much. So your vocal, you might feel that you are moving air through your throat, but the point is that your vocal cords are not moving. Now maybe a better example would be between V and F. If you say V, you can feel your vocal cords vibrating, but if you say F, nothing, your vocal cords are not moving. Anyway, so we have B, you send it to the front, it becomes a D, you unvoice it becomes a T, you send it to the back, it becomes a K, right? And so you can see how each each symbol is telling you the instructions of how to make the sound. Okay, so that was an overview of how the Phyrexian writing system works. And now that we know this, the question is, how do we represent these new metallic sounds? Because all these diacritics we have, they represent like real things that humans can say. Like for example, this diacritic means that you unvoiced a letter. Here it meant that you aspirated. This that you say it's an uvular or voice or back or front. How do we represent metallic? And okay, you might have already seen that I'm using the star diacritic to represent metallic. And that's like my decision now. But, so this is my conclusion right now, metallic. But I just want to explain to you why I am very certain about this, but not 100% certain that this is how it actually works. So let's go here. Sorry. Okay, so this is the phrase, right? And it has some metallic consonants, and we don't know how to write sh or imas ahak, or at least we have never seen them written. But you know what we have seen written? Kappa. Okay, and we know, Mary Catherine told us that both K and P are metallic in this word. Sorry about that, I don't know what happened. Okay, and the thing is that we have seen the word kappa written before, remember, in the Phyrexian swamp lore. And here's the thing, I'm gonna try to be concise about this. When we look at this word kappa, we notice that, okay, so we have a star diacritic here in a consonant that we know to be metallic. Okay, but then this P consonant should also be metallic, but it doesn't have a star diacritic. What it does have is this other diacritic, which is also present in the K. So we have two options. Either the star diacritic represents metallic, or it is this one, the little dash to the side. I don't know, I should give names to these diacritics, come to think of it. And this was my dilemma. Like, which one of this is truly representing metallicity? And you could make an argument for both of them. You can make the argument that in the only example in which we know for a fact metallic consonants are being used, this dash, is the only common element between both of them. And that's a very strong argument. But if we go back, so all these letters are examples of Phyrexian that we have seen, right? And for example, the problem here is that Mary Catherine said that you can have a metallic glottal stop. And so I suspect this is the symbol that we have thought to be the glottal stop for a long time, right? And we have also seen this other version of this symbol, and it always confused me, like, why are there two glottal stops? What for a while I thought that this could be like an aspirated K, but now I think this is a metallic glottal stop because it has the star diacritic. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Also, we have seen this symbol that represents like this, the fricatives too, and we have seen it with the star diacritic. And we know that you can also have this metallic fricative, which is just like two pieces of metal rubbing on each other. And I don't know, it will also explain, then we also have this other example of a letter we have seen, this fricative one with star diacritic. What could it mean? I don't know, I feel like the evidence in favor of the star diacritic, meaning metallic, is stronger than the other way around. But then the question is, what about this, right? What about the P with this thing here? How? Because like this is the thing that destroys my argument. This, we know it to be, actually this is wrong. This should be P metallic because we have seen it. And so I think that what happens in this case is that, like, think you are like a Phyrexian scribe. Imagine you're a Phyrexian scribe, you are writing, I don't know, like you are making a copy of the Phyrexian scriptures, about Jacmod, and you need a way to represent metallic P, right? And so you start with a base consonant, right? And so this is a B. And if you unvoice it, okay, so now it becomes a P. Sorry about that. And so you unvoice it, and now it becomes a P. And now you want to represent the metallic version of this sound. And well, you could put the metallic diacritic here, but now it looks kind of clunky. Now you have a word with two diacritics on the same side. And I don't know, this doesn't look complete. The Jacmod wouldn't be happy with this. So what do? You say, okay, what if I use this other diacritic that we have? And maybe you say, okay, this is going to represent the metallic P. And maybe it would have some other, maybe what it should represent is an aspirated P. But maybe if Phyrexian doesn't use this sound anywhere, if Phyrexian doesn't use an aspirated P, then you could use the symbol of aspirated P to represent metallic P. You know what I mean? So it would be like an exception in the writing system, but an exception that is perfectly justified, I think. And so, yeah, that's how I think it works. But keep in mind, I could be wrong. Like, I'm not 100% sure. But this is the solution that makes the most sense to me, given the evidence we have. And now, just to finish this, let's talk about one more thing. Mary Catherine revealed that if you use the metallic version of the glottal stop, you sound more fancy in Phyrexian. And I love that. I love that there are accents in Phyrexian that sound more fancy. That would be, I guess, like the equivalent of the British accent or something like that. And this is a small detail, and it doesn't really factor into our efforts to decipher Phyrexian. But I still love it because, well, for one, languages are works of art, and this adds to the work of art. But I also love it because it shows how much care and how much depth went into Phyrexian. And Gavin actually mentions it in the interview. He says that every time Mary tells him something about Phyrexian, he is impressed that, oh, we actually put it there. It's really that detailed. And I love that. Like, I knew that Phyrexian was like a real language with a real writing system and real grammar. But I didn't know they had actually put accents in there. And the fact that they did makes it, like, it validates so much my interest in this language, because it tells me that yeah, like there is depth here for me to find, right? That someone spent as much time thinking about Phyrexian as I'm doing. That this was a labor of love and care, and thus that it is. That's why it earned my interest. I guess in a way I had seen the depth inside. Like, I wasn't. No one had told me explicitly. No one had given me this evidence to be able to justify the depth that I was seeing. But like, I guess in some level I knew there was this depth here, and that was what invited me to get interested in this language. And so, yeah, I love it. And I don't know. That's really. I love it. That's all I have to say about that. I love all of this. And so, yeah, that's it. This is the episode. Phyrexian uses the sounds. This is how we are going to write them from now on. Phyrexian has accents. Actually, some Phyrexian characters have accents different from other characters. Apparently, Urabras speaks differently from other predators. You know, like, that's great. And remember the call to action. Remember that we need them to know that what we want are Phyrexian stories. Links to the Twitter and the YouTube and everything are in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching.